Nestled deep in the hazy mountain ranges of the Mushroom Kingdom, Choco Mountain is a misty, chocolate-coated gauntlet of sharp turns, crumbling ledges, and of course lots of falling boulders. First appearing in Mario Kart 64, this legendary track quickly became known for its narrow cliffside paths, dramatic tunnel segment, and of course that very infamous final bend with lots of water that I'm pretty sure has claimed many countless victims over the years. After some rugged returns in Mario Kart DS, Tour, and 8 Deluxe, Choco Mountain is back once more in Mario Kart World for the Switch 2, and it's been completely rebuilt now, just having a real strong industrial theme. It is a lot less enclosed than normal, and even features things like a marked road, large metal structures, and it even revolves around a facility named Charge and Chuck Monster Trucks. It's not quite the sleepy mountainside that it once was, but after analysing this bad boy, I can confirm that the soul of the track is still intact. Hey everyone, I'm SwiftJar, and welcome back to my favourite series on the channel, being the Changes and Analysis series, where we of course pick apart a Mario Kart track, and to be completely honest, just dive way too deep into what made it special. Today of course, we're going to be looking at N64 Choco Mountain, and I'm joined by my very good friend ShyGuyKart, who's just as excited about this track's return as I am. The setup's pretty simple. We'll go ahead and revisit the good parts of Choco Mountain on its debut, look at every change that it's seen in all its past appearances, hear why ShyGuyKart's pretty keen for this comeback, and then break down all the exciting updates it's going to be getting in Mario Kart World. If you want to skip to any point in the video, you can just use the timestamps down below. And also, before I get started, I just want you to know that I am giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 on this channel, and also a copy of Mario Kart World. The only thing that you need to do to be part of that giveaway is just be subscribed. You also get an extra entry as well if you are following me on Twitter and they're in the Swift Cafe Discord. But that's enough yapping on, let's get into this track. Choco Mountain first rolled onto the scene in Mario Kart 64, and honestly, it's still one of my favourite tracks to this very day. That's probably nostalgia speaking though. But I just feel that there's something special about how it balances tight, kind of claustrophobic corners with some wide open danger zones that always just keep you on edge. Literally. There's no real gimmicks here, just raw, fog-covered chaos. Speaking of, the entire course is just shrouded in a thick, complete chocolatey mist, with lots of towering cliffs and falling boulders that kind of just act as your main threat. And if you were like me, playing on 50cc as a kid, you probably remember being pretty grateful that the cliffside drop was kind of blocked off. Baby SwiftJar did not need to be humbled that way. Gameplay wise, Choco Mountain is a drifter's paradise. It kicks off with a long straightaway that quickly gives way to sharp winding turns, leading you into a bizarre pyramid-shaped mountain with some glowing eyes watching every move. From there, it's a sweeping left turn and a small jump before hitting that infamous ascending bend. You know, the one that punishes even the slightest oversteer with a quick dip into the river below, or even worse, back down the mountain. And just to make things more difficult there, it also hurls a bunch of boulders at you as well, so just beware of that. But if you do manage to survive that, you're actually rewarded with a series of fast hill jumps before landing back at the starting line. Look, it's simple, it's tense, and in my opinion, it's iconic. And don't even get me started on the music. I love this song. It's an absolute classic track. Choco Mountain then made its classic course debut in Mario Kart DS, and it was the second race of the Leaf Cup. While the layout does remain largely unchanged, there are actually a few small differences, so let's go through them all. The most noticeable change is actually the visual update. The mountain walls and road textures have been completely redone to match the DS's graphical style, just ditching the muddy, kind of fog-covered look of the original for a much cleaner and I guess you could say polished version. The dense fog is less intense, and that makes the course a lot easier to read, and the pit near the final curve now contains a lot more visible water at the bottom. I like that change. The track also no longer has banisters on 50cc or in time trials, meaning even newer players can even fall down below if they're not careful. Most of the walls have also been flattened as well, probably due to the DS's limitations. The boulders that also fly across the track still appear, which is nice, but their spawn rates and sizes are also slightly different. They're a little bit more predictable in this version, and if you're now hit by one, your character will actually get flattened, so I guess that's a new addition. There were also a few smaller details as well. All the advertisers from the course were swapped out to DS's brand new signage, so that's different as well. All in all though, it's still Choco Mountain and it's a good damn time. This is kind of where the fun begins for Choco Mountain. This made its glorious return in Mario Kart Tour during the Exploration Tour, and honestly, this is the version that made me fall in love with what Tour was doing with its retro revamps. What was once considered a pretty bland and straightforward track got a complete glow up, just transforming it into something atmospheric, layered, and genuinely stunning. Right off the bat, no pun intended, the starting line actually sets the tone. The classic flat banner is now gone, and it's been replaced by a wooden frame just with a bold 3-dimensional blue Mario Kart logo. It's also just a whole lot more naturally aesthetic, and there's even a ladder on the right side too. Once the race begins, we actually get to see the changes in action. The walls around feel a lot larger, and it even just feels more like a mountain now. The first big change comes at the very first turn. The left-hand wall that was always covering you in here, making it feel claustrophobic, has now been partially destroyed, just opening up this cliffside view that's complete with dead trees and just fog drifting off into the distance. This section actually feels less like a racetrack now and more like a scenic mountain trail. Potentially you could hike across it. Even just seeing the larger mountains in the distance now is just epic. Small ramps have also been added just before reaching the final face of the mountain, but the real standout change happens when you enter the tunnel now, or should I say cave. Instead of a plain hollow mountain, Tour turns this stretch into a full-blown cavern. Inside, there are glowing crystals, lanterns, a fluttering swarm of swoops, and even an off-road shortcut pass that just allow you to cut through it. It honestly left me pretty stunned when I first saw this. At the end of the cavern as well, there's also a brand new glide ramp that sends you soaring over a pit, with a narrow stone ledge visible below, and even underneath you see like a broken bridge, and it just looks epic with all the fog around. On the right hand side, if you look closely, there's also a new concrete wall. And the wall going around the mountain now is even embedded with fossilized fish bones. It almost makes you think this used to be a lake where fish bones once swam, so a little bit of history and lore there. The infamous cliff turn at the boulders also has a short wooden guardrail again, though this appears on all difficulties this time. It's also not threatening at all in Tour because you can't actually fall off anything, so I'm not sure why it's even there, but it's nice that it is. The boulders also appear to be a lot bigger now, and they're also grey. And on the final corner, there's even a new off-road shortcut that's been added. You can just cut through with mushrooms like normal. The signs and the advertisements around the place are also updated to Tour style as well, so that's another small change. But all in all, Mario Kart Tour didn't just remake Choco Mountain, it literally reimagined it. I also love the reverse variant, the trick variants, the reverse trick variants and all that stuff too. It's just nice to race this course in different ways. I'm a really big fan of it. As mentioned at the start, this track also released in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as part of the Booster Course Pass. It was actually the third course of the Golden Dash Cup. This version is essentially just Mario Kart Tours just ported over, of course with some updated graphics, some new atmosphere, and a few small notable gameplay changes too. Before the course even starts off, the music actually kicks in, and it just sets this moody tone. There's some wind, you get to see the barren terrain again, and it just sounds like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. I also like the new rendition of the music too. It kind of almost sounds a little bit more western. I really like it. The course is essentially just ported over from Tour, but the light fog that lingers is much less dense than in Tour, allowing most of the track to remain visible. The environment also feels a lot more dynamic, and of course looks way better than Tour, of course being in HD, and some better textures as well. Even though it doesn't look as good as the original Mario Kart 8 Deluxe courses, it still looks good. The signage of course has been updated with the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe style, but probably the biggest change here is the addition of more spectators, including Shy Guys and Koopa Paratroopers. And I love how the Koopa Paratroopers cheer you on from the cliff edges and just midair. The ramps from Mario Kart Tour just before the cavern section as well were completely removed, and the glide ramp at the cave exit has been slightly shortened. You also can't trick off the broken bridge anymore. Inside the cave as well, the swoops kind of have some updated flight paths, and I love how the player's headlights actually turn on automatically now. To be completely honest, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just took the Tour foundation and just enhanced it slightly. So for that, it's pretty cool. And I'm always going to be a fan of playing this one. I feel like they kind of perfected this track. As mentioned at the start again, Choco Mountain will make another grand return in Mario Kart World, and this time it will appear as the second track in the Lightning Cup. It's located around the middle of the map this time, slightly on the eastern side. This new version is now themed around Charge and Chuck. It has been completely rebuilt now, and it essentially just has an industrial theme. So it's not quite the sleepy mountainside that it once was, but the soul of the track is still intact. Like I said before, they kind of perfected this in Tour and also 8 Deluxe, so I'm actually kind of glad that it got a change. Before I dive into all the core changes, I actually want to pass the mic over to my good friend ShyGuyKart, who's really good at making plushes by the way, just to let you know why he's keen for this track making a comeback.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Swiftjar. Ever since its remake and tour, Choco Mountain went from a very mid track to a pretty memorable one in my eyes. I mean, come on, we raced on a huge chocolate mountain with a beautiful cave filled with gems and jewels. Its remake in Mario Kart World, however, is interesting to say the least. I mean, I can't say I'm mad at it, but the fact that it's a whole monster truck looking arena instead of that memorable chocolate mountain that we all grew up and loved kinda takes the charm away from it. But hey, we haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it will be pretty neat. I mean, come on, we have charging trucks playing football on it, which I think is pretty dope.
Thanks my dude, it's always really cool linking up with you, and make sure to check out his content because he makes some really good stuff. Now let's dive into all the update, and we've got to start with the starting line banner, as this course has a lot of changes visually and also gameplay wise, so I don't want to get lost anywhere. The starting line banner in World actually got a really nice refresh, and it looks super modern now. Instead of the old basic banner, this one's a bright orange with the classic blue Mario Kart logo, and it just kind of gives off some big tournament vibes. On either side as well, there are these tall orange pillars, just with teal blue accents, and also a look like built-in lights as well, kind of like something you see at a big racing event or just a concert. They even added some new round logos on the sides, probably some in-universe sponsors or something like that, and I really like at the very top, there's a metal lighting rig with spotlights hanging over the track. It's pretty nice. And if you look further in the background as well, you get to see the yellow Mario Kart TV style walls just all around. It really enhances the atmosphere. You also notice just how much wider this entire track is now. It's clearly built to fit the 24 races and just give you more room to move. You can see way further out than before, just with big stadium lights and open views. That old enclosed feeling is completely gone, but in this place is something way more dynamic. And also don't worry, the paratroopers from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are still flying around in the first bend, so it's kind of a nice touch there. Right from the get-go, there's actually a shortcut on the right hand side you can boost through with a mushroom I believe. I think there's some water or oil in there, so you're probably going to want to test that when you play this. The road itself also now has a steel floor instead of dirt. And after you turn right like in the original, there's actually a grandstand full of spectators cheering you on. From there, the road starts to spiral, with even more off-road bits that might actually be shortcuts. I'd probably lean towards saying these are going to be shortcuts and you cut through them, but we'll have to just wait and see. The track then gets messy pretty fast. There's a lot of oil or mud spilling across the road in places, but what's actually really cool is the rocky mountain textures from the old Choco Mountain are still kind of on the sides. And now, the entire place is decked out with charge and chuck billboards, fans, and even more. The fog, well, that's unfortunately gone this time around, but who really knows? It might make a comeback with different weather settings. When you're around the next bend, the cave entrance opens up a little earlier than before, and this time it's all charge and chuck territory. The tunnel actually has this circular design, and you enter it with a little speed boost which feels really great. Inside the tunnel, it's pretty different this time around. There are lots of moving billboards on the walls, and it's super dark when you first get in. And now, you've even got charge and chucks acting as obstacles, which just adds this whole new layer of chaos. It also looks like it's split into two parts. The first half is all about charge and chucks, but then it transitions into something that feels more like Tour's version of the cave. Steel walls, guiding lights, and this cool factory light vibe. It actually gives me some Toad's Factory flashbacks, which I really like. That second tunnel section bends the same way as the original. It even has off-road shortcuts on the left again, but this time there's also an upper level, and I'm super curious about it. Can you access it from earlier in the track? Is it part of an open world style branching path like other tracks? Maybe you can even launch up there from the mud somehow in the section before. The left wall in this part of the tunnel as well also looks pretty drivable this time around as well. And once you pass the bend, it then opens up again, and you can even see daylight. It's a really cool contrast from the original. They even added a ramp in what used to be part of Tours or 8 Deluxe's extended cave section. So that's pretty cool. Where the glider section used to be in Tour, that's just now a little ramp. And the terrain changes back to steel again. The barriers on the far right also look kinda grindable, and the backdrop of the trees, open space, and all the oil puddles looks super slick. There's gonna be a lot of off-road shortcuts around here too, which is gonna be nice. Then you hit the spot where the old bridge used to be, just before Death Mountain will color. You know, where the boulders start rolling down again. This time it's just a metal construction zone, with a lot more lights, a jump pad, even some charge and chucks kicking footballs at you. Just before the jump as well, there's actually a wall underneath the signage that looks drivable, so there will definitely be another sneaky path for sure, probably going up the mountain. Below that is more oil, water, and tons of chucks doing their thing. This is where the track feels closest to the original. There are still boulders rolling down, but now the turn is much wider, and there's even mud and oil just everywhere. Both sides even have grindable rails it seems, and you've got to weave through all that before heading up the mountain. And yep, those walls are really drivable now as well. Onto the final stretch. That last bend before the finish, it's a lot less narrow than before. And again, there's even grindable rails on the edges. There are even sparklers on the left hand side as well. And if you want to take a shortcut like the original, you can just cut through the right side too. And there's some off-road sections on the left too as well. The last jump section is even wider now as well. There's more elevation, some charging chucks, more signage, just more everything. Then boom, you're just back at the start ready to do it all over again. So yeah, layout wise, it's pretty mostly the same, which I'm actually really happy about. But visually and mechanically, it's been given the royal treatment in my opinion. There's new vibes, new energy, but I guess the same Choco Mountain soul. It just shows they really cared in remaking this track. I'm all for it. But that has been all the changes that I was able to spot in Choco Mountain. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below the track itself, and of course if you notice any other changes that I missed. I'll be sure to update the pinned comment below with any other facts. A massive shout out also goes to everyone in the Swift Cafe Discord as well, just for helping point out a lot of the smaller details and just details in general. And also a good shout out goes to my good friend Toon Tris, who actually provided all the footage for this video. If you did enjoy this video, it would be super appreciated if you could leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe, as it really helps out the channel out a lot. And of course, let me know what track you want to see next, and also what guests you want to see as well. I'm not sure how many other ones I'm going to get out before release, but regardless, we'll get these done eventually. And if this is the last one before release, let's get damn excited. I hope you all join me at midnight here in Australia to actually live stream us playing it. And there's going to be a lot more content coming for Mario Kart World, especially some gameplay stuff as well. So I hope you stick around for that. But until next time though, make sure to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!